Some bonds are forged in childhood and strengthened by shared secrets, late-night whispers, and the kind of unconditional love that only exists between sisters. Simon Cowell had witnessed every type of heartbreak on the Got Talent stage, but nothing could have prepared him for the 20-year-old woman who walked onto the stage that September evening, carrying herself like someone who had been forced to grow up too fast, too soon. Her name was Jessica Miller, and she moved with the careful composure of someone who had learned to hold herself together when everything inside wanted to fall apart. She was petite, with long auburn hair that she kept tucking behind her ears nervously. She wore a simple purple dress. Purple had been her sister's favorite color, and around her neck hung a small silver locket that caught the stage lights as she positioned herself at center stage. The audience applauded warmly, but there was something in Jessica's bearing that immediately suggested this wasn't going to be an ordinary audition. She didn't smile or wave. She simply stood there, one hand unconsciously touching the locket at her throat, looking out at the crowd with eyes that held a maturity far beyond her 20 years. Simon sat at the judges' table, his usual confident posture shifting as he observed Jessica. 20 years of experience had taught him to recognize when someone was carrying more than just performance nerves. This young woman was carrying something that had fundamentally changed her, something that had carved deep spaces in her heart that would never be filled. The host approached with his customary warmth, but even he seemed to sense the gravity of the moment. "Welcome to Britain's Got Talent. Please tell us your name." "Jessica Miller," she said, her voice steady but carrying an undertone of carefully controlled emotion. "I'm from Leeds." "And what brings you here tonight, Jessica?" Jessica's hand tightened around the locket at her throat. When she spoke, her voice remained clear, but there was something underneath it, a pain so fresh it seemed to radiate from her very core. "I'm here for my little sister," she said quietly. "Her name was Lily Rose Miller. She died 6 months ago from acute lymphoblastic leukemia. She was 12 years old." The audience fell silent immediately. The casual chatter at the judges' table stopped. This wasn't the kind of revelation anyone expected from such a young contestant. "Lily and I were best friends," Jessica continued, her voice beginning to waver slightly. "Despite the 8-year age difference, we did everything together. She used to say I was her built-in best friend, and she was mine." She opened the locket around her neck, revealing a tiny photo of a beautiful little girl with the same auburn hair as Jessica, but with bright green eyes and a gap-toothed smile that seemed to light up even the small photograph. "She was diagnosed when she was 10. We thought we had beaten it once, but it came back last year. This time it was too aggressive, too fast." One of the judges, a woman, brought her hand to her mouth, tears already forming. The theater had become so quiet that every word Jessica spoke seemed to echo. During her treatment, Lily became obsessed with music. She said it was the only thing that made her feel normal when everything else was scary and painful. Her favorite song was "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. "She made me promise that if anything happened to her, I would sing it for everyone to hear." Jessica's voice broke slightly on the word promise, but she steadied herself, drawing strength from somewhere deep inside. She said she wanted the whole world to know that love between sisters doesn't end when one of them has to go first. Simon stood up slowly from his chair, not with dramatic flair, but with the quiet recognition that what was about to happen required his complete presence and respect. He didn't walk onto the stage yet. He simply stood where he was, waiting. "What will you be performing for us tonight?" the host asked gently. "See You Again," Jessica replied, touching the locket one more time. Lily's favorite song, the one that got us through 2 years of hospital stays and treatments and hoping and praying, the one she hummed during her last chemo session. She looked directly into one of the cameras, as if speaking to someone far away. "This is for you, Lilybug. Your big sister is keeping her promise." The backing track began, the distinctive piano melody of "See You Again" filling the theater. Jessica closed her eyes for a moment, and when she opened them, there was something different there. The grief was still present, but alongside it was a fierce determination, the kind of love that refuses to be silenced by death. She began to sing, her voice clear and strong despite the emotion threatening to overwhelm her. "It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again." The audience was immediately transfixed. This wasn't just a performance. This was a sister keeping a sacred promise, a conversation between two people separated by the ultimate distance. Jessica sang with the kind of raw emotion that can't be taught or practiced, only earned through loss. "We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again." At the judges' table, there wasn't a dry eye. The other judges had stopped pretending to take notes and were simply watching, overwhelmed by the power of Jessica's performance. In the audience, people were crying openly, many thinking of their own siblings, their own fears, their own understanding of how precious and fragile family bonds really are. Simon began walking onto the stage, not interrupting, just needing to be closer to this moment. He stopped a few feet from Jessica, his own face showing the impact of what he was witnessing. "Damn, who knew all the planes we flew, good things we've been through, that I'll be standing right here talking to you." Jessica's voice grew stronger as she moved through the song, as if Lily's spirit was giving her strength. She sang about friendship that transcends death, about promises kept, about love that finds a way to bridge any distance. About another path. "I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last." Her voice cracked slightly on the word "last," and everyone in the theater understood the weight of those lyrics for someone who had watched her little sister fight and lose a battle that no child should ever have to face. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days. Hard work forever pays. Jessica sang about the good times, about the laughter they shared during treatments, about the way Lily never lost her smile even when the chemotherapy made her sick, even when the steroids changed her appearance, even when they both knew the battle was being lost. "Now I see you in a better place," the line hit like a physical blow. Jessica's voice soared with a mixture of grief and hope, pain and peace. She was singing about her sister being free from pain, about believing in something beyond loss, about finding comfort in the idea that love survives everything. How could we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through. You were standing there by my side. The audience was crying openly now. This wasn't just about losing a sibling. It was about the particular bond between sisters, about growing up together and facing the unthinkable together, about one sister having to continue living while carrying the memory of the other. "And now you gon' be with me for the last ride." As Jessica approached the final chorus, her voice gained power from somewhere beyond technique, beyond training. She was singing with the strength of someone honoring a promise, someone refusing to let death have the final word in her sister's story. So let the light guide your way. Yeah, hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Home. The song built to its emotional crescendo, and Jessica sang with everything she had, pouring 8 years of sisterhood, 2 years of fighting, and 6 months of grief into every note. "It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again." As the music faded, Jessica stood with tears streaming down her face, clutching the locket that held Lily's picture. The theater remained in complete silence for a long moment, everyone understanding that they had just witnessed something sacred. Then Simon began to applaud, slowly and respectfully. The other judges joined him, then the audience, until the entire theater was on its feet in the longest, most heartfelt standing ovation in the show's history. Simon approached Jessica, his voice thick, with emotion when he spoke. "Jessica," he said, and his voice cracked slightly. "What you just did, that wasn't a performance. That was love in its purest form. You've honored your sister in the most beautiful way possible." He looked out at the audience, then back at Jessica. Lily was right about one thing. The love between sisters doesn't end. What you've just shown us proves that. You've kept your promise to her, but more than that, you've shown everyone watching what it means to love someone so completely that not even death can silence it. Jessica nodded through her tears, still holding the locket. "She would have loved this," she whispered. "She always said she wanted to be on this show someday." "She is here," Simon said firmly. "She's here in your voice, in your courage, in the love that brought you to this stage. Lily is absolutely here." Without hesitation, Simon walked to the golden buzzer and placed his hand on it. "This is for Lily Rose Miller," he announced to the theater, "and for love between sisters that is stronger than anything life can throw at it." He pressed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti exploded from the ceiling, the lights turned gold, and the music played. But the atmosphere wasn't purely celebratory. It felt like a blessing, a recognition of something holy that had been shared. Jessica looked up at the falling confetti and smiled through her tears. The first real smile anyone had seen from her all evening. "Thank you, Lilybug," she whispered. "We did it." After the cameras stopped rolling, Jessica remained on stage for a long time, surrounded by audience members who wanted to share their own stories of loss, their own understanding of sibling love. Many people approached to tell her about their own sisters, their own battles with illness, their own experiences with keeping promises to those they'd lost. Before she left, Simon spoke with her privately for nearly an hour. They talked about grief, about healing, about what it means to carry someone's memory forward through music. "You've given Lily the greatest gift," he told her. "You've made sure her story will be remembered, that her favorite song will always be connected to the love you shared." Jessica's audition aired 5 weeks later and became one of the most watched Got Talent moments in television history. But more importantly, it started conversations about sibling relationships, about childhood cancer, about the different ways love expresses itself even after loss. Jessica established a foundation in Lily's name to provide music therapy for children undergoing cancer treatment. She continued to perform, dedicating every song to her little sister, keeping their bond alive through music. And every year on Lily's birthday, Jessica goes to her grave and sings "See You Again." Because some promises are too sacred to break, and some love is too strong to be silenced by death. Because that night on the